doctor when there may be just a minor ailment.
All right, so the question of health is very important right there. And talking about health again, the issue about the health of our tourism sector, where are we? That's the big question that everyone is asking. We are entering a festive season. This, for majority, just looking at the local space within the country, we tend to travel a lot. We're looking at opportunities. And the question is, where are we generally? And right now I'm joined by Francis Gishaba, who's the chair of Kenya Tourism Board. So welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Francis, it's a couple of days to December. And I can imagine the sector must be excited. Is this normally a high, and when does that high start, first of all?
Okay, number one, thank you very much, Noah, for having me here. Yes, you are right. The Kenyan tourism business, or the Kenyan tourism market, is experiencing a high. And if you look at our progress since the beginning of this year, we've been seeing a steady growth from January. But I'd like you to take a further look into what happened. COVID came and crashed our business, both the domestic tourism business and our international arrivals. And we are now coming out of that trough, if you like. So starting from last year, the world has resumed across the globe. Travel has come back again. We have seen dormant airlines that were put on ground during COVID season now coming back. And domestically, we're also seeing Kenyans who had been locked in their homes for 2 years now going out again. So we are having two waves, one which is driven by domestic tourists and one which is driven by international arrivals.
Okay.
Yes.
We've just seen that particular interview with Equity Group CEO.
Yes.
And actually prominent, he's brought up the issue of the macros, the macroeconomic issues that the country is facing. And this trickles down to the spending power of individuals. And when it comes to tourism, it seems, it's one of those extras. So you deal with the basics, then you're like, okay, I can travel. Looking at how the economy has been, and also just relating that with the history that you've given us, how should we expect this season to be?
This season is definitely quite busy at the moment. As I said, we have two waves. And when you talk about Kenyans being under financial pressure, that's true. But what's also true is that this country has a lot of hidden gems. When we think about domestic tourism, you may be thinking about Serena, you may be thinking about your White Sands, you may be thinking about Masai Mara and the big lodges. But there are other hidden gems. And as Kenya Tourism Board, that's what we've been working very hard to bring up, so that Kenyans can know you do not need to have 100,000 shillings, for example, for you to enjoy a holiday with your family. You can go around the city, maybe 30, 40 kilometers, and have a nice touristic experience. So we are bringing out different budgets so that Kenyans can travel. And with that in mind, then we can work with the reduced disposable incomes and give Kenyans a choice.
Ah, that's incredible.
Yes.
There I was trying to look for a spot to go on a date. Yes. And I actually went on Twitter, on TikTok, and searched, cafes,
Yes.
and you find a lot of hidden gems, as you call it.
Yes.
In regards to how we reimagine what tourism is. Because to the core, honestly, as a Kenyan, you're thinking about you're in shorts and you are at the beach, relaxing.
Yes.
And we need to sort of this mind change.
Yes.
As at KTB, other than releasing those different spots, is there something that you're doing that is consistent to have that shift of mindset on tourism in the country?
Yes, we've got a number of initiatives. We have resuscitated our previous campaign called Tembea Kenya, which has come on the back of You Deserve a Holiday. You Deserve a Holiday was an initiative that we launched to re-engage Kenyans to travel after going through 2 difficult years of COVID. Now we have come up with the Tembea Kenya campaign, and Tembea Kenya is going to be rolled up in multiples. We are looking at say we look at a city like Nairobi, and we map out Nairobi. What does Nairobi have to offer as Nairobi as a city and within the environs of Nairobi? You could be aware that the Nairobi County is coming up with the Nairobi Festival that will be happening in the first week of December. And we are working in conjunction with Nairobi County government to promote this particular festival. But beyond that, there are lots of interesting places you may not know. We have a zip liner just up the Northern Road on your way to Njabini. It's just about 60 kilometers. And it's an interesting place where families can go, they can have adventure. We have other places. We are now looking at ecotourism or agrotourism, where Kenyans can go see how coffee is grown. Not all the Nairobians, for example, have seen coffee or tea, in its natural habitat. Not all of us know how tea is processed. So we are coming up with all these interesting features. Okay. And we shall do the same for Nakuru. We shall do the same for Mombasa. We shall do the same for Kisumu. And with that, then we hope to resuscitate domestic tourism. People can choose where to go, and that will also talk into the government's agenda of promoting bottom-up economic transformation. Okay. Because the moment then Kenyans start traveling, it means we bring up the local economies, we create local employment, and then tourism has a lot of linkages, back and forward linkages. Yes. So all those are going to be ignited. Exactly. And with that, then we can drive the economy forward.
All right. Now, I know right now ongoing is the East Africa Regional Tourism Expo.
Yes.
And even when you think about tourism in that context, it's about competitiveness and having an edge. As much as the region offers different opportunities and different arenas and strengths, the market, everyone is looking at the best rated, the best experience. For starters, how competitive are we in this region?
Competitiveness is a debatable factor. But what I'd like to bring to attention now is the East African community, over and above being a political bloc, also has business advantages. Let me just take you back a little bit. If you look at a country like Thailand, Thailand has, before COVID, used to receive about 40 million tourists. If you look at those 40 million tourists, most of them came from the region. Of course, the bulk of them coming from China. The rest of the countries contributing to that being Korea, Malaysia, of course, Singapore, Philippines, and the rest. Now, let's come close to Kenya. The Kenyan or the East African community has a lot in common. We share Swahili language across the region. We have common features like the Lake Victoria that cut across, and even looking at Lake Victoria is heavily underutilized. If you see how the Egyptians use the River Nile, it's a 24-hour economy. Not only is the irrigation coming up, or has not only irrigation come up, we have cruise ships that plow the River Nile. We haven't made use of Lake Victoria as East African national states. And those are tourism opportunities that we can tap into. The three largest mountains in Africa are within East Africa. We have Mount Kilimanjaro, we have Mount Kenya, we have the Ruwenzoris. So there's a lot that we can promote. So when we say tourists coming long haul, they don't just have to come and visit, say, Kenya only. So they can come to Kenya, get the unique experiences that Kenya has to offer, then go into Uganda, come into Tanzania, go to Rwanda, Burundi, and even our brothers and sisters in South Sudan, and of course not forgetting the DRC.
All right. And, and how are you, because normally when it comes to even movement itself, and I'm glad because the president has been very passionate about this issue of visa-free travel within the continent of Africa, to make it also, as much as people are having an experience, also Africans within Africa, somebody can move from South Africa all the way to Kenya, visit the East Africa region and whatnot. But in terms of creating a synergy within the region, within this market, what deliberate steps are being taken to do that?
We have not moved very far. I think the political angle has opened up the goodwill by facilitating the fact that you don't need passports to cross into the borders of Tanzania, Uganda, Burundi, and all that. And that is the back on which we want to ride as East African Tourism Expo. If you look at this event which is happening now, this is the third edition. The first one happened in Tanzania, then Burundi hosted the second edition, then Kenya has come in as a third host. Okay. So what we are promoting is we want not only for international arrivals to visit or tour the three countries, but also for East Africans to visit each other. Let me also bring you to speed. When we had the WRC championship a few months ago, I think it was in June, we saw lots of inbounds from Uganda and from Tanzania, from South Sudan and from Ethiopia. So already it is happening. And it's happening on its own accord. Okay. But now, as a regional tourism body, we now want to fast track that. Okay. We have a lot that this country offers that is of interest to the local region populations. Okay. We've got the marathons, and again, those marathons we've seen entries from Uganda, from Tanzania, from other parts of East Africa as well. So we want now to encourage that kind of regional tourism over and above the international arrivals that, of course, will bring us for an exchange.
Definitely. And yes. Lastly, even as we close up, I know this particular, expo is also there. We also have the magical Kenya Travel Expo, so yes. Ongoing, yes. Hand in hand, sort of yes. Parallels. Briefly, what are we hoping to achieve with that as we close up?
So the Magical Kenya Tourism Travel Expo is basically about Kenya. We've brought our tour operators, our travel agents, and our parks and all the tourism stakeholders to come and showcase what Kenya has to offer. And we are now saying that Kenya as a destination is beyond beach and wildlife. We've got much more, and now I invite you, please come and cover this event. We've got a lot of displays into the Kenyan tourism sector. We've got different players who have come to showcase different aspects of their attractions. And remember that as Kenya Tourism Board, we don't own the tourism assets. These are the people who own the tourism assets. So what we do as a board is to promote what they do so that they can get business, our country can get busy, we can create employment for this country's youth, and we can then raise the tourism contributions into the GDP.
Definitely. Yes. And I'm glad you've encouraged me to partake in this. Yes. I was trying to find something interesting, which I can't find right now. Okay. But I have very nice cargo pants, and I posted that, and people are really telling me that I look like a tour guide. And I told them nikupiga luku, you know,
Nikupiga luku.
because also fashion has a lot of potential when it comes to tourism.
Yes.
And I think it's something that we can explore further. But thank you very much, sir, for coming through today.
Thank you very much
I
for
really
having me.
appreciate Francis Kishoba is the chair of Kenya Tourism Board, and he says that we are not working in isolation. That's why we have the East Africa Regional Tourism Expo ongoing to work on the synergy within the region. Somebody comes, visit Kenya, cross over to Uganda, go to Rwanda, take advantage of that. And also the Magical Kenya Travel Expo promoting and also bringing to light some of these areas in terms of diversifying the tourism sector. Kenya still has great potential that we need to unravel. Right now we take a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking matters to do with cooperatives and investing. Stay tuned. Thank you, sir.